Chilling like a villain. What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Dr. Will Rogers. I was just over there chilling, listening to the intro music. Got a powerful mission tonight. We're going to jump right in. Today is Saturn's Day, Saturday night, July the 23rd of 2022, and the time is 2022. The time is 9:15. The year is 2022. So now we want to jump in. We're going to talk about your new audience. And we're going to talk about how to connect with your new audience. This message is not only for business people, although it's primarily for business, but it's also just for the regular Joe and Josephine. The universe has changed. So according to NASA, and if you go to nasa.org and look at the website and do the research on, we are in a new age. So we left the age of Pisces, and now we are in a new age, or a new eon, as it says in the biblical text. And this new age, this new eon, is sending a new frequency, a new wave, and a new vibration. So the old connections that we had or have are changed. And so now, especially if you're in business, you will notice that you have to adjust your focus. You got to adjust how you connect. Before, my market was people that did not have purpose. Now, my market is people who do not have consciousness. So my market has changed. So for some people, they have not picked up on how the market has changed. So my market used to be the effect. Now my market is the cause. So I want to make sure that everybody has their market, especially members of the Life Management System, or people who are interested in, if I can say the word right, one of these days, of establishing especially your online business. Because as we've been talking about before, and as I mentioned earlier today, in the Day Show, we were talking about the fact that people really want to connect with people who can honestly just really assist them. I mean, for real, like, people are tired of getting scammed. People are tired of getting, you order something that comes in the mail and it's not what you ordered. It's not what you expected. So people just want solutions. People want people who they can trust, do business with people that they trust, and people just want value. They just want you to deliver. If you say that your product, service, or information does whatever it does, people just want to make sure that your product, service, or information does that. And so tonight what we're talking about is one of the most, important topics when it comes to understanding where you are today. So everybody knows their life path number, right? And everybody knows the dark side of the life path number. That just simply means that's your market. So that's the simplest way to find your market. So if I'm a 6, I'm a carer on a basic level. I'm a cosmic parent. So the dark side, look at my life story, man, what have I done my whole life? Well, I overcared. I bit off way more than I could chew, so therefore it appears on paper like I don't care. So everybody, your market is your dark side. So what I did wrong was, and if you want to use the word wrong, because remember, it's a learning experience. So we are all here to do what? Learn. So there is no such thing as, wrong and right. It's very, very important that we understand that, because if I got a sense that there's a lot of static. Is anybody else getting a lot of static in the call? Let me check my sound. I think I'm back. Let me try it again. So I think I'm back. So we may have to switch over if that happens again. So I just got bounced out. So the call-in number that we are using, I'm not sure if that could be a problem with that number. Well, we'll try it again. If the call drops, we'll call back in with the exact same number, 917-900-1022, but the code will be 20201005. And then I'll just pop that out or send that out to everybody if that happens again. So is that sound okay? I got a text in that sounds a little better. So hopefully we're good then. But that sounds great now. Okay, awesome. All right, so the sound is a little better. So let's get back on. So what were we saying? Let's go back to the beginning since we had this little sound interruption. Everybody on the call, your market now is deeper. So you started off, you were dealing with the people who was the effect. Like I've been focusing on helping people find purpose. That's great. Now that's gone. People are not interested in that anymore. People are now interested in how come people don't have purpose. So what causes a lack of purpose? So now everybody in this call, you will find that I was telling my daughter this morning with her business. I was telling her, you got to change your business, and you got to keep changing it because I was making money and doing great, and then my YouTube channel got deleted. So I had a library with over 5,000 shows where people could Google and my stuff would pop up, and it was working like gangbusters. I was doing great. What happened was YouTube deleted that channel. Now when people Google etymology, my name doesn't come up. So when people Google any topic, my name always come up. But now when people Google that, because I don't have that search engine optimization anymore, the search engines are not optimized to my information. So now if you go to Google and you type in, the word baptism, my book, my shows, and everything that I did on baptism. If you went to Google back in the day and you typed in, is Jesus his real name? My book and all my stuff will pop up. And you could research it and prove that Jesus is not his real name. If you went to Google and if you type in the destroyer, Nibiru, end of the world, Armageddon, the rapture, all my stuff popped up to prove that there is no such thing. And it would go back to the ancient Egyptian papyrus that talked about what happened in Egypt when the destroyer came. Just like it says in the Bible when Moses painted the doorpost over the thing. This is what is so crazy to me. Everything I teach is in the Bible. It's just, again, people are not cellularly equipped to just click on the word destroyer. Look it up in the original text where it says Nibiru. Look up what Nibiru is, and you see that it's a comet that comes near this planet every 25,950 years. When it does, it destroys the planet. It's cataclysmic. Now, I broke this down inside of the Adam and Eve story. You guys remember that? That was CIA classified up until recently. So the CIA knows that the Bible is false, fake. But they don't want you to know because it's the only way they can control you. Now, I did that, and I wrote that book about Adam and Eve, 10 years ago. There's people on this call who still will not go to the CIA and look that shit up. So you can't help them. So what you do, like I told you guys then, you walk the fuck away quickly, or that shit will get on you. Now, I've been saying this a long time, and I got $100,000 reward if anybody can prove me wrong. I've been saying that for 20 years now. Even my kids ask me, damn, Dad, you still got your $100,000? Yep. It ain't going nowhere. Because there's nothing on the planet that can prove me wrong, because I already researched everything on the planet. So your market you have to be able to connect off grid. What is that? 5D. The world now is not 3D anymore. I don't know if y'all hip to, Zuckerberg knows it. He's trying to get as many of you suckers in the metaverse as possible. I'm trying to get y'all close to the omniverse. Now, Zuckerberg will get more Negroes than I do because he got technology. Now, I'm not mad at it. In fact, I wrote a whole book about Zuckerberg. It's called The New God of This World. Now, this was inside of the series on TV called American Gods. What did they say? The new gods is technology. So now everybody worships technology. How do you worship? Time, money. Where does your time go? Where's your money go? I'm asking for a friend. I guarantee you more. If I look at your money, where's it go? Everything is technological. You got your cable bill, you got your cell phone bill, all your little kids, they got the Xbox, they got this, that, and the other. You got, watches that you wear that count your steps. Everybody, me too. Time and money is technology. I just know it, so I just spend more time and more money off technology, off grid. Because I refuse to worship the new God of this age. Because, again, people have difficulty defining God. So now, that Zuckerberg is controlling the your gamma brain waves through technology. You can't reach your market. Because you're talking to people and you're talking about the effect. That's 3D. Now everybody is on calls. That's 5G or 5D. That's what we're in 5 ether. Really? I'm on 9. You should really come up to 9. But for the sake of today's market, or today's discussion, let's talk about 5. Because they just released the 5D. Because 5D controls chi, or energy. It dehydrates you. That's why everybody, like I told you guys, that book that's on the internet that's free, that titled You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. It's about that dude who cured everybody with water. Water. It's like you're a desert. Everybody's body is a desert. So the market is not nutrition. The market is what causes a desert. See, everybody's treating effect. Me too. That's why I know I'm not talking about guilty reports of purpose. Now I'm talking more about physics. And I'm more talking about ignorance. Why? Ignorance causes lack of purpose. So I've been making money off of purpose. Been doing great for 10, 15 years. Now, the well is getting dry. Nobody's interested in purpose now. Why? Everybody's brain is gone. Negroes can't even add anymore. There is an agenda, brothers and sisters. Now, if you cannot see this agenda, there's an agenda to destroy the masculinity of men. They already got the women. Now, I could go through and list the agenda to destroy male masculinity, starting with the nutrition. I could. I'm not going to waste my time, though, but I could. I could go through, and I got $100,000 to prove to me, but I could prove to you that your testosterone level right now is lower, because remember, this is Harvard. Yeah, this is where I'm getting this shit from. So it's not like I'm just making it up. But what is the market? The market is not testosterone supplements, which is what men do. The market is what's causing your testosterone to drop. So if you can come up with a product, service, information, a book that tells men, you can go out and, get you a bunch of cocoa, because that does what? It increases male testosterone. You can go out and get you some moringa. Why? Increases male testosterone. You can go out and get you some tangerine. Why? It increases male testosterone. Beet juice increases male testosterone. Watermelon. Which is why I do watermelon detox. Why? Increases male testosterone. Why? It's nitrogen. And what does nitrogen do? Open up the blood vessels. So you can do what? Men get an erection. Now, I know that's the market. The market is not the audience, I should say, that we all should be going after. Now, everybody on this call, you have a specific market. Now, I shared with the Theocentric Nutrition group this morning all of the nitrogen-rich, as an example, which is something I may do. I may come up with a book which I told men before this, and I told guys before, like when I was talking in private to an all-male group. And I told men to try it. They did. They increased the length of their genitalia, and they increased their sexual paralysis. They're doing paralysis. I don't know if that's the right word. Anyway, y'all know what I mean. How? Ain't rocket science. Harvard already did all the work. I'm just, I've been doing it intuitively, but I didn't know. It's just because then I'm a 33. So that means shit just comes to me. So the main thing is garlic, oranges, watermelon, beets, pomegranate. I remember all of this stuff, most of this stuff when I was a little kid, I used to just go outside and eat dewberries and marberries and figs. My grandmother grew all of that shit. I just grew, and then I never wore shoes when I was a kid. That's why I used to always step on nails. I can bring my sisters on, brothers and sisters on here, they'll tell you. Why? I didn't know, but that's the only way to recalibrate. This helps men with erection. So men going outside and let your bare feet hit the dirt, it recalibrates your biological clock, we'll put it that way. Immediately. Now remember, there's TikTok videos that prove all of this. So the market is not men with lip noodles. The market is what are the top 10 nitrogen-rich or testosterone-boosting foods? What are exercises or techniques to increase male testosterone? Since testosterone has been attacked, so whoever goes into that, now I know we're talking about all natural. There's a bunch of pharmaceuticals, which is they don't solve the problem. They treat what? The effect. So the market is not the effect anymore. Example, my market for 20 years has been deer canoe reports. Now I sell maybe 1 or 2 deer canoe reports a month. Nobody's interested. Why? Nobody cares about purpose anymore. Why? What causes a lack of purpose? So now I got a new market. And if you've been listening and watching all of my shows I've been doing, what am I talking about? Ignorance. Ignorance. So like it says in Hosea 4:6, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And say shit about purpose. Although it does say what purpose is not known, what happens? Abuse is inevitable. But I can't, because nobody's interested in purpose anymore. So I have to rebrand myself. I'm rebranding myself right now. As what? Master Teacher 33. So now you got to do the same thing. Because if you don't, you're not going to make no money. Now, if you got a regular 9-to-5 job, okay. But even your 9-to-5 job is changing. Now we are in this new economy. After COVID, everybody's at home now. Everybody got a side hustle. Everybody got an app. So either you got to be making apps or you got to be using apps to do what? To generate capital. Capital. What does that mean? Solve people's problems. So how do you connect with your audience? Well, I said it earlier today. What is your most pressing problem? Mine, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. But how come I didn't know what I was supposed to do? I was raised in an environment of ignorance. What is the environment of ignorance? An environment of ignorance is anybody that go to elementary school, anybody that goes to church, anybody that do what we do in America. America, we're the ignorant country in the world. But everybody should be, you could really easily speak 3 languages. But in America, we don't really, every other country, when I was in the military, everybody speaks multiple languages. Because they grew up that way. It's a lot easier to teach a child multiple language than it is to teach an adult. Same thing with music. Everybody plays musical instruments. Everybody loves to do some kind of Tai Chi, yoga, some type of way to de-stress themselves. When I was in Japan, I was just blown away with the little kids in Japan. At the educational system, totally different from the West. So your ability to connect with your market based upon your past. So everybody on this call, you went through something. And what you went through uniquely prepared you for your past. Example, I was watching Brian Gumbo with that show that comes on. There was a guy I had no idea that you can get paid this kind of money to be a mascot. And so, I don't know if you guys saw it, it was on tonight. The guy was raised by his mother who had some kind of, she had vision, but it wasn't very clear. She was deaf, and she was basically wheelchair bound. So he had to communicate with his mother as a little child with movements, hand movement, sign language, gestures, and his stuff. So he grew up, he went in, got his degree, blah, blah, blah. He was doing an internship at the Met. And the Philadelphia, the mascot for the Philadelphia Phillies, I think that is. I think it's the Philadelphia Phillies. The Philly Fanatic. I think that's what it's called. The first, like this goes way back before a lot of you guys was born. Like, I think 70s. So the Philly Fanatic, that was that dude. He was the number one, and he was so good. Now he has I cannot believe it. They, mascot dudes in these suits, they make, it was from $500,000 to $1 million a year. I had no idea. They have a school. He got a mascot university. That's why I got Master Teacher 33 University. I'll be rolling it out here in September. He also has a company that creates mascots for businesses and for every major sports team on the planet. The dude's a multi-quillionaire. I don't know how much money he got. He got mad money. I mean, I was like, if he wasn't raised in a bad environment, in his mind, his mom, you know, when he was a kid, he said he hated it because he couldn't communicate with his mom with words. But that environment uniquely prepared him to be a mascot. Because the mascot, you're in a suit. You can't communicate with the audience. You got to get people to laugh with your hands, with your feet, with a funny costume on. His flaws uniquely prepared him for his cause. That's your market. Now, I'm trying to help everybody tonight. So we can all be balling out of control. So y'all can come out to my new house, sit on the round table. We can all sit behind, sit at the pool, and laugh and joke about the class that I did on July the 23rd of 2002. Your past, all your problems, everything that you are ashamed of, that has uniquely prepared you. Your flaws has prepared you for your cause. If everybody could just stop for a moment and look at your flaws, that you don't want nobody to know. Go back to your past. Think about the darkest thing what happened to you. You got fondled when you were a little boy or a little girl. You know, somebody, you know, what's the worst thing that happened? Somebody locked you in the closet, you know. Somebody like, what is the worst thing? The worst thing that happened to me, one of the worst things that happened to me besides, I have quite a few. But the thing that burns in my brain is watching my mom, like, get bullied, if you want to use that term. Because she was a nice person. People come onto the house, Myrtle, can you show this? Sure. She could, you know, she could sew, she could sing, she could do all of this stuff. But she never got paid. And if people paid her, it was late. Because she didn't demand to get paid. And then when Sister X used to come up and pick us up, and my mom wouldn't do nothing. She would slap us around and beat the shit out of us. And my mom never said, hey, don't be hitting my kid. At least I don't remember. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe my brother and sister got a different story. This is mine. This is my show. This is my story. So what's the point, Doc? The point is everybody sees the world differently. Everybody has a different perspective. I remember having this conversation with one of my sisters, Linda, and I was telling her, like, you know, like in her mind, like my mom was like a hero. And I have a lot of benevolent memories. And I was telling, we was talking to we was all having this conversation, and it was like, do y'all remember? And I was like, I don't have any benevolent memories. They said, well, you don't remember we were sitting at the piano? And I was like, I can remember stuff, but I don't have a lot of benevolent, like good. I know we used to come back from Sister X, and my mom would say, you know, eat whatever you want. And I remember them pancakes, man. We used to make pancakes and government pancakes. I remember government cheese. Y'all remember government cheese? Y'all remember that? What, powdered milk? Y'all remember that? Okay. Y'all remember that? My bad. They used to have powdered milk. You add water. They have powdered eggs. Crazy stuff. This is way back before some of you guys was born. What's the point, Doc? Those are my flaws. That's where those are cause of my flaws. I should say that. That's your market. So once you understand that your flaws you are unique. It's your uniqueness. Your flaws have uniquely prepared you. Just like for the guy who became nice and he retired. He has a whole university that teaches little kids how to be a mascot. Every new sports team come out, they go to him and say, hey, we need a mascot for our team. He comes up. So now when I go to the Spurs game and I see the mascot, I'm going to look at it a little differently because now I understand this guy is making $500,000 a year. We laughing at him, thinking, just another. Now I'm like, damn. Instead of sending all the kids to try to become sports athletes, we should send them if they're going to be mascots. Every major university goes to this dude. Do you know how many colleges there are that got sports teams? Do you know how much money? I mean, I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying. This all came from his flaws, though. His flaws gave him a skill set. Now he's uniquely prepared for his cause. So your new audience is now your flaws. Your new audience is what caused your flaws. When I think about what happened to me when I went to the University of Health Science Centers, University of Texas, University of San Antonio at Texas, Health Science Center, and I went to the psych department. And they told me, Mr. Rogers, what happened to you when you was a child? Your brain fractured. And we could put your brain, which they did, and they showed me the graphs, and they could show every major event created a department in my brain because if the brain can't process an event, it fractures and creates an alternate Sasha Fierce if you Beyonce. Remember Beyonce said when she takes the stage, Sasha comes out. Almost every actor I've talked to, they see the same shit. And I remember doing a counseling session when I tell you guys about when I first met, Sister Aranica, Sister Zakia, who has multiple personality disorder. And now she's an actress making big money because she can do multiple personality disorder. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, so I got to say this again. Because you flawed on purpose, for purpose. This is the age of authenticity. This is the age of Aquarius. This is the age of the water bearer. This is the age that knowledge has been pouring out on all flesh. So if you are in the dark, like the night of Ebenezer Baptist Nichols are, boo-boo, that shit's by choice. Because you can Google anything. Every statement that I make, anybody can Google it and try to prove me wrong, which I encourage everybody to do. Because you're in the wrong market. That's why you're not making no money. Now, I've said this multiple times to multiple people. But we still got multiple problems. What's the problem? Shout out to Sister Carolina. Love you, sis. Appreciate you. Sister Carolina put her image, not that it hasn't been there before, but she boldly saying, look at me, with no fear. Again, I've been talking to Sister Cheryl West, my boy, Brother Richard. What is it about social media? You should be saying, I don't like social media, man. Social media is spiritual media. This is what I love. I got to break the physics down of this one of these days. If you really understood social media, take out the word social, because this shit is not social. Take out the word media because it's a medium. This is the medium of exchange between you and heaven or hell, which is high vibration and low vibration. Why? Social media is the devil's playground. This is why I love social media. My wife tells me all the time, I don't know how you do it. Because the first time somebody come on my page talking crazy shit, I'm going to give them my address, I'm going to show up at my house. I said, yeah, I started off like that too. I had, I wanted to prove myself right. I wanted to defend myself. I wanted to argue and debate until I realized like I was winning every argument, but I had no money. That was good, man. I'm telling y'all, this shit was crazy. Like, it's like the same thing I was telling my daughter with the housing stuff. Like, buying this house has been the greatest. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. Like, this shit is crazy. Like, you can't make this up. When I tell you guys what I've been through with this house, you're not gonna believe me. You're not gonna believe that this is legal. You're not gonna wait till you hear what happened. I'll probably share it on Wednesday after we move in. Should I probably do a live from inside the house Wednesday night or Tuesday night? Shit, I don't know. Anyway, what's the point? The point is, we're in the age of Aquarius now. That means water means life. Your customers need you because you can give them life. Because you went through some adversity and you figured it out. I was talking with one of the newest members, Sister Amika, and I was explaining to her, like, her childhood has uniquely prepared her, because the one thing that women need is they need to understand strength, but they also need to maintain their softness or their femininity. So it's hard because especially black women, because you've been told, because usually you don't have a man because either he's in jail or he's probably a down low brother. So there's not too many alpha males. At least I can't find a lot of alpha males out there. So women have to usually operate in both roles. Like when I first met Dee, she was a single mom, 2 kids, so she was mama and daddy. So when we first met, my version of daddy was a little too, how can I put this, aggressive. So in order for the relationship to work, I remember the conversation that we had at a Carl's Jr.'s restaurant. We sit down and we was just like, I didn't raise them like that. She said, well, I raised my kids differently. I believe in spanking, I believe in all of that stuff, but, I don't think you should, the hand that you use to reach out to hug the child should not be the same hand that you use to spank the child. It should make sense to me. Now I didn't do that. I mean, you know what? Man, kid act up, whatever I got, that's what you go get. Because that's how I was raised. But I understood, so we sat down and we made an agreement. Remember, I was already starting to get into this. And I told her, if you give me a year, you won't have to work again if you don't want to. It took me a little longer than a year, but now I'm here. What's the point? The point is, everybody on this call can do exactly what I did. I ain't not nobody special. Nobody should be working unless you really love your job and you want to work. But we have a problem. The problem is we have a lack of identity. That's why I gave a shout out to Sister Carolina. Why? Because if you put your picture on Facebook, somebody gonna say something negative, somebody gonna say something positive. And if you do not have thick skin, you're gonna get offended. And that energy that you have is gonna repel your customers. Let me tell you the smoking gun. People don't buy your product. They buy your feelings. So your feelings, especially if you are a high energy person like me, I make all my money off my energy. That's why I'm on TikTok all the time. Why? Visibility. So people don't really care what I'm selling. They're just like, damn, this dude over there, he got, 33 shirt, he got a hat on it. So, and I'm talking fast, and I'm talking loud, and I'm saying, I got $100,000, I'll give you, you can prove me wrong. So people like, the new people are like, shit, I'm going to get this 100 grand. And then they start researching, and then they always email me on the fly. It's funny. They always usually text me or email me like, bro, I did what you said. I went and looked it up. And then they make the mistake that I did. They tell all their family and their friends. And then they demonized. I got a young brother. Young brother, man, his mama told him, if you don't quit listening to that crazy dude and get that crazy shit out of my house. Because he went to his mama like, he said, mama, like, for real. Like, everything that you believe is a lie. His mama went off. And he texted me and come and said, Doc, man, I'm so excited. But, like, I know I did the same mistake. And we all do. Because when you do, it's like I said in the Gospel of Thomas. So now, guess what? He got a market now. So I did his numbers, I did his report, and then I asked him, so what was your most pressing problem? And it was weird because this dude is one of the most intellectual young brothers that I know. His reply shocked me. He grew up with a lot of brothers. He had one sister, and it was hygiene. So he started his own hygiene company. Now he sells skin products and stuff. He actually built his own, I'm going to use this word, his own lab. And he's a young brother, man, and it's like, I remember when we first met, and I'm seeing how he is evolving because he got rid of his belief system. That freed his mind up to embrace himself and his cause. You cannot put new wine in the old wineskin. Once he was encountered with the truth, and he removed, because his brain was full. So now you got to remember, if all of your neurons in your brain currently hold knowledge. So unlearning is the key to success, not learning. So I had to unlearn everything that I was taught. Once I unlearned everything I was taught, bam, I started making money. Because I didn't know that I was sending out a feeling of fear because I was unsure. I was unstable. So people was picking that up. So when I go around Christians, I get the same feeling from them, which is what? But they're unsure and they're unstable. Or what's the opposite feeling? The opposite feeling is you get somebody that's like a high school cheerleader. They're like overzealous. They're like overselling it. They're like trying too hard. So they're very preachy or they're very pushy. So you get either one, they're very laid back, they're not engaged, they don't care, they don't do anything, but if the opportunity opens, bam, they're gonna hit you with like the Jehovah's Witnesses. If the opportunity never opens, then they don't really say nothing. But at the end of the day, you get pick it up because they'll always say, when you get an accomplishment, like I love it. I love it. I love it every time, man. I love it. Man, God is like talking to my wife's parents. Jesus is really blessing you. You should be thankful. It's kind of comical. Because I'm like, well, how come he ain't blessing? I want to say, how come he ain't blessing you? You've been in this for how long? Twice as long as I am. So why am I giving you money? Like, this is the questions you should be asking yourself, not me. But I like the Christians that are doing well more than the ones that are not doing well. Because the Christians that do well, they always attribute the success to Jesus or to God. Whether they do that neuters their power. Why? Because when it hits the fan, I got memories of what I did. And I replay those memories. Now, you could say, I'm here by what? Source. Absolutely. I have no problem with that. That's why I'm saying the same things that Christians are saying, but I'm saying it the same way that Yahushua said it. Because Yahushua said the things that I have done. He said the things that I have done, you shall do. He said, when you see me, you see the Father. Because the disciples, hey, yo, dad, we tired of talking to you. We want to talk to your daddy. And he's like, shit, I am my daddy. They're like, what? This nigga was crazy. Could you imagine somebody walk along and saying that me and my daddy are one? Like, Jesus was a rebel, man. Like, this wasn't no, like, weak, watered down dude. The dude had some serious mental problems based upon the current narrative. So what was his market? So Jesus had, and again, y'all all know, Yahushua, whatever word you want to use. But based upon the story, he went to the Garden of Gethsemane because he had his question in his market, his calling, his destiny. He said, Father, take this cup from me. Just like probably some of you guys are doing. Because you're going to question your cup and your market. So he was born for a specific purpose, just like you. And the way that you find your market is, it's so easy. All you got to do, if you want to know what you're called to do, just look what you've been through. So when I talk to people, I ask them, what have you been through? First interview. As soon as I get a new client, like I'll tell you guys about Sister Mika, as soon as I got a new client, first thing I ask her, okay, well, where you from? How'd you grow up? And she started telling me a story, like, what? So you grew up in this and that? And she was telling me what happened. I was like, you still here? And you still in your right mind? And you still functioning? And you still stable mentally? Oh shit, that's the book. That's a course. You could have thousands of women who they're not doing as well as you mentally. They're not doing as well as you physically. They're not doing as well as you psychologically. Because when they went through that, they was like me. They were suicidal. They was caught up in a fetal position. They had a gut. Some of them are not here because they killed themselves. So I don't know. So how did you get through that then? So whatever you did, what was your mental state? Where did you go? Who did you talk to? What did you eat? What exactly did you do when the event happened? If you could recall that and put that in a book, put that in a product, put that in a service, there are women right now that are going through what you already went through. I remember talking to Sister Carolina, same thing. Sister Kill Watson, same thing. That's the span. Everybody, when they join, the first thing we go through when we do our one-on-ones is you tell me your story. I'm going to talk with Brother Richard when he was debating him about, man, Brother Richard's from Canada. He has his wife, now ex-wife, and children in Canada. And you know what we talked about doing our one-on-ones? He wants to go to Vietnam. But if he go to Vietnam, what does that mean? He got to leave his family. You just don't know. How did he do that? So Brother Richard wrote a book called Courage, How to Move Forward in the Face of Adversity. And I remember talking when I first met Sister Addie, and I tell you guys about her story. I helped her write her book. And what was her book? Quiet Storm. Because when Sister Addie was a little girl, they told her that you touched with something that is not spiritual. Could you imagine as a child, an adult telling you that and taking you up to the altar to get prayed for, to cast it out, and you 5? How did you get it? And then to go up and you have these voices in your head telling you, you ain't the shit. So Sister Eddie wrote a book. We wrote a book entitled Quiet Storm, How to Silence the Negative Voices in Your Head. Why? You know how many other people can't do that? Do you know how many people in a mental institution? Because there is an electrical storm. I know because I had the same storm going on in my head. You know what? It's still there. It ain't going nowhere. I just override it with love, joy, peace, gentleness, meekness, self-control in the form of, number one, most important thing, solutions. Brothers and sisters, everybody's busy. But you gotta be able to get solutions. And it's easy because, guess what? Let me let you in on the secret. You are the solution. So right now, Sister Carolina is the solution to a bunch of people's problems. All she got to do is to connect with those people. How? Let them know you're available. How? Post it on Facebook, social media. Everybody's on social media because they're going to Google it. Right now, you got to change. You got to go to school. You got to take no classes. You got to get a degree right now. Brother Joseph, he is the solution, and he has the ability to establish closeness. That's just called trust. And he can add value right now. He don't need no more education. He don't need no more shows, no more books, nothing. Right now, he's the bee's knees to a bunch of people. And they are willing to pay Brother Joseph a lot of money. Because what he's been through, I don't know what he's been through, but whatever he's been through, he's still here. He's still standing. He's still he's still in his right mind. That means that he has the ability to do what? Solve someone else's problem by adding value. So everybody on this call, what you're doing is great. Now you got to take it to the next level. What is the next level? Let me give you an example. Let's talk with the Goddess of the West. So Sister Cheryl West has her book out called Mentalness, which I assisted her with writing her book too. Just like I'll assist you with writing yours. Now, obviously I ain't going to do, my time is money, so I ain't going to do it for free. However, if you need some assistance, holler at your boy. Number one, everybody on this call should have a book by yesterday. If you don't have a book, I don't know, man. I don't know what you're doing. Why? Book is not for other people. You're not writing a book to sell it. I don't know if I told y'all. You're writing the book to establish credibility. See, when you become an author, you become authorized. That's why you have the King James authorized version of the Bible. You are unknowingly assisting King James to rise. King James is still alive because you keep him alive every time you say his name. Because remember, when you say the name of a blank, you summon a blank. So King James wanted to live in infamy. So he put his name and he created his own version. That's his own verse. So now we got the King James universe. There's a level where you can go, if you wanted to, that exists out there in the metaverse somewhere, where King James is at. Because King James was smart enough to write shit down, like me. So King James will always be here because he has a Bible named after him. The King James authorized. He was the author, so now he can rise above you. So when you become an author, it gives you instant. It's more valuable than a degree. Instant respect. That's why I got so many books. That's why I get called all the time from gurus. They ask me to be on their show. They ask me to say another, or they ask me to use a quote. Hey, we read your book. Can you do this? Is it okay if we use this? Blah blah blah. You know how many doors have opened because of the books that I've written? So, going back to Sister Cheryl West. So, Sister Cheryl West has been talking to the market that needs to establish mental wellness. We'll put it that way. Mental health. But Sister West, Goddess of the West, Sister Cheryl, is having difficulty connecting with her market. Because she's in a market where there are people that have mental health degrees. So if you're having a mental health problem, you'd rather talk to a psychologist or a therapist from Harvard or Yale or Princeton or Brown until you do what I did, which is what? Build your audience based upon what? Proof, solutions, facts. So my audience listen to my videos and my TikTok, and I challenge my audience that I will give you $100,000 if you can prove me wrong. So they've already deleted 2 of my YouTube channels, 3 of my Blog Talk channels. I've already been threatened a couple of times about my TikTok. That's why I got a backup channel already made. So if something happens to my main channel. Now on my main TikTok channel, now, I don't know what the statistics are, but I grew pretty fast. Why? Add value. So Sister Cheryl West, now what you got to do is prove to your market that what you're saying is more valuable than what the people at Harvard, Yale, and Princeton are saying. But you should do what I do. I use the statistics. I don't have a lab, but I know Dr. Joe Dispenza does. And I know Dr. Bruce Lipton does. So I would take a tape that I did 20 years ago. And Joe Dispenza just comes out with new information. Like, for example, I love NASA's website. I love the CIA website. Why? They got shit that they are releasing that's it's younger than mine. That means I knew it before they did. What does that do? That adds something called credibility. So people can, what's number 2? Trust. I got the solution. Now I got to build the trust. So the Cheryl West, you got the solution, Sister Cheryl. So now you got to stop talking about the solution. Now you got to start talking about trust. So how do you build trust? You build trust by adding value. But now we got to know, okay, how do I add value? When you think about value, what do you think? Like men, the number one thing, ladies, that men want is value. Value is what? Admiration. Admiration is what? Respect. Respect is what? You see worth and value in me. How do you see that though? How come some people can see my worth and value and some people can't? Think for a moment. Like, a prophet is not welcome in his own hometown. That's biblical. So my brothers and sisters, family members, they don't see my worth and value. Now they do. My brothers and sisters have been very supportive. They like they tune into some of my shows. Like in fact, I think my sister Brenda's on the show tonight. But what does that mean? Worth and value. What is worth and value? How do you establish worth and value? It has to do with vision. Remember, the brain interprets and changes worth and value. So my brothers and sisters can't see my worth and value. Not to the level that like the customers who pay me money do. Why? Because they remember me as little badass Willie. So they're not supposed to see my worth and value the way you guys do. They're supposed, because they have memories way before I came into this knowledge. So I've been doing this less amount of time than I was with my brothers and sisters. So let's say I was raised with my brothers and sisters from 0 till, obviously, till we left. Even though we were separated, we were still together. And let's just say, for example, 20 years. So now I've been doing this for 20 years. So now my brothers and sisters are 50-50. They believe half the shit I say. They believe half the shit I don't say. Now in another 10 years, I'll be continuing to say what I've been saying. 10 years from now, I'll be saying the same thing. And all my brothers and sisters, they'll be believing what I'm saying. Because they'll see how times change. They see religions change, but they see that I'm saying the same thing. Why? Numbers don't change. 2 plus 2 always equals 4. I can change letters. I can use that multiple languages. There's only one mathematical table. There's multiple. How many alphabets is it? There's Japanese, Chinese, Aramaic, Mandarin. But how many mathematical equations are there? If I get 2 rocks, now there's a different way of expressing it, saying it. That's language. That's not math. Physics. Physics never change because it's spirit. That's why God is a mathematical God. So math doesn't change. So my new market is math. Why? Because now the universe is ready for quantum physics. Before, I could not talk about quantum physics because niggas be like, what? So now I can take out all my old books on physics. I can go back. I can go back and pull up all my old shows that I taught 20 years ago. I can go back now to the metaphysics of H2O. Now, that has been deleted. Every time I publish it, I put it out, it gets deleted. Why? Because it's the metaphysics of water. And what about the show that I did on the metaphysics of Christ consciousness? That's an old audiobook. The original title was The Hidden Metaphysics of H2O. And I still got the copies of it. And I can still probably find it. But what's the point? The point is, that's physics. That talks about oxy, O-X-Y, and genes, what we call oxygen. Well, inside of that H2O, there is a metaverse of the invisible substance that exists before you do. And that's called hydro. Now, we call it hydrogen. That's why it's H2O. So hydrogen. So now they're coming out with Hell Hydra. Even the Nazis used to say Hell. Remember, it was in the movie, they were talking about Hell Hydra. Damn, what movie was that? I forgot what movie it was. Anyway, all of that's inside of that book that I did 20 years ago. This is called neurophonics or photonics, which we talked about earlier today. That's my new market. Why? That's the cause of why people don't have purpose. So my new market is, I'm just going deeper. Everybody on this call now, you got to go deeper. So you used to could make money with 3D stuff, like first base stuff, like talking about websites and, you know, now you got to talk about coding. Now you got to talk about CRMs. Now you got to talk about SEOs. Now you got to start talking about, you know, all-in-one platforms. Why? That's what causes people to make money online. So now you got to be able to cause me to make money online. You just can't tell me how to make money, like all my stuff I did on how to make money online. Then them dogs don't hunt no more. So now you will find me talking about cause now of making money. What causes people to make money online? People who have an all-in-one platform. People who have a funnel. People who have a payment gateway with multiple different options. Whether I can pay you with, you know, Google Pay or Apple Pay, or I can pay you with a credit card, I can pay you with Cash App, I can pay you with VMO. Those are people now. So you gotta, that's the stuff that now you gotta do that. So you gotta be like you gotta have like, if you got merch, you gotta be on Spotify, and you gotta be on Pinterest, and you gotta be on a couple other places. I gotta have multiple platforms. But what causes people to go to those multiple platforms? People looking for comfort and ease. Every platform and every app takes away effort. People do not like to exert effort. So if you could make people's lives easier. So what Sister Cheryl West has to do now is she has a great book. So now the next thing is for her to develop a great course that's greater than the one that she does now, that deals with what causes mental illness. And mental illness is just nothing but what? The inability to recognize and maintain a positive ruling disposition. I'm reading it out of her book. So now that we know the effect, people do not have the ability to do what? Everything that we talk about. That is, hold a proper self-image. One image and just hold it. So, Sister Cheryl, your course is how to, what I've been talking about, find the right words that create the right images, that create the right feeling, and maintain it. That's your course. So, your course is, number one, you got to teach people, okay, I want to establish a mental disposition. But I just can't tell you that now. That used to sell. You used to say, hey, get my book. Mentalness. Mentalness is next to godliness. People would look at it, be tired and say, okay, now, that doesn't work no more. Now, you still got the book. That's the intro. You still talk about the book. You still post the book. You still let people know because that adds to what? Credibility. Because now people know that you are Goddess Cheryl of the West and you are a published author. So now you let people know what's inside of the book. Because now, every time you talk about the book, you add value. But don't read from the book. What do? You tell people your solutions is inside of this book, which is a part of this course for $199. But get the introduction for only $9.95, $29.95, $49. In fact, nobody should have a book for less than $29, $49. Nobody. Because then you're just giving it away for free. And then, so what do you do, Sister? Well, you tell them, number one, you are telling yourself the wrong words. And so the first module is 10 words to establish a ruling disposition. 7 words, 3 words. Whatever you did, Sister Cheryl, to establish your ruling disposition, because your greatest customer is yourself. Because look at you. You have a ruling disposition now. Because you posted videos 2-3 times a day. I remember I was begging you back in the day to post videos. Now I see you on Facebook more than me. Instagram, TikTok. I'm like, look at the Goddess of the West. So now, Sister Cheryl, you need to tell me, how did you establish that ruling disposition? Well, you like, I don't give a fuck what nobody else say. I'm posting videos today. If I get one viewer, my cousin, my cousin Pookie. Because you're not doing it for those damn views. You're doing it to establish credibility, to show that you are firm, fair, and consistent. So everybody got to do the same thing that Sister Cheryl got to do. Number one, everybody, you have to establish the fact that you know what the hell you're talking about. Establish credibility. For Sister Cheryl, that means she's going to have people choose the right words. Why? Words establish worlds. And so, Sister Cheryl, you can explain why words are so important. Then module number 2 of your course is when you get the right words, now you need to get the right images. Because remember, the brain thinks in images. And now, Sister Cheryl, you got to explain. Everything I do every day, that's what you got to explain in your course. How to choose the right images. That's real easy. For men, I would just do like I do. Hey, because men, especially men, we understand Pecker 101. So, what images make your pecker hard? That's the same thing for the brain, because the brain is like the pecker. It amplifies. It needs something that you go like, oh shit, that, whatever that is. Everybody's oh shit is different. Some women like thickums. Some dudes like sticks. Some dudes like women that look like 12-year-old, little girls. I don't know why, but they do. Some dudes like, everybody got a different image. Your job is not to put the image in their head. Your job is to pull the image out, because it's already in there. So once you do number 2, then you go on to module number 3. Everybody should have at least 3 modules in your online course. And the module is what? The module is about cause now. It's not about effect. Which is very simple. Find your life path number and what causes you to operate in the dark side of your life path number. My life path number is a 6. I'm supposed to be a nice guy. All my life, I wasn't a nice guy. What caused me to not be the nice guy? Well, bad shit happened to me when I was little. And so I wanted to be a thug. So I set out to be a thug. Why? Because I got tired of, people taking my lunch money. And then I lost myself. And I really believed, shit, I'm a thug. I'm hard. Then I went to work in a Supermax prison. And I saw real thugs. And I was like, oh shit, I'm scared. I saw real thugs, like real ones. They eat people. I like for real. They chop your little ass up into a bunch of pieces and put you in the refrigerator. Like Jeffrey Dahmer shit. I'm like, oh snap. I'm a thug. So, Sister Carolina, I got right up out there quick, Sister Carolina. I realized that I wasn't one of them. I was a pretender. So, you know what? I was like, you know what? I want to move on in the neighborhood where Sister Kilwater lived at. Sister Kilwater lives in a nice neighborhood and drives a nice car, so I would live over there. Ain't no thugs over there. So I got about the hood quick. Because I found out that I was a paper champion. So I realized I was fake. See, this is the age of fake. All right, everybody's fake. Watch what happens. The house of cards is coming down. You can't be fake no more. You got to be number two. You got to build trust. So the show for you, number three is you got to choose the highest feeling story. Sister Cheryl, that is everybody has a selling point. I call it your touchstone. So Sister Cheryl, you got to come up with a slogan or a logo, a saying for feeling story, because nobody knows what that means. Everybody is doing what they feel, but it's not the highest. So the show, you got to tell people, first of all, you got to give yourself permission. So each one of these three sections, you should have three main bullet points underneath it. So there's like three paragraphs. It's just like writing a book. It's in the outline. So that's what everybody has to do. Because everybody can't maintain that single image in their brain, Sister Cheryl, because they really are not amplified by that image. They settled because they went to church and T.D. Jakes told them, you can't be what you really want to be. Like, let's say, worst case scenario, let's say you grew up, you want to be a stripper. You go to church, now you got big TTs, you got a big badonkadonk, your body's perfect for the pole. But you was raised in the church. What happened? Well, you got called into business. What happened to Whitney Houston? That's the saddest story. When I watched the Whitney Houston story, that's probably the only story that I cried on. When she said at the end of that, when she was getting out of that limo with, that what's his name? And she said that she lived her whole life and she was never able to sing the songs that she wanted to sing. All the Bobby Brown crazy shit when she was stumbling around with drugs and all that stuff, her soul, that's why she attracted Bobby Brown. There is no way a Bobby Brown could shine a Whitney Houston shoe. How the fuck did they meet? What day was Whitney vibrating so low that snake could connect with her? He caught Whitney at a very dark, low state, like some of y'all. And when he latched on, oh, that nigga wasn't stupid. Now, I ain't mad at him. Shit, I'd have done the same thing. Now, he was cool. Now, don't get it right. We can't blame everything on Whitney, right? I mean, on Bobby. But come on, man, let's be for real. So what are you saying, Doc? I'm saying to everybody on this call, don't be Whitney Houston. Please. I lived half of my life as Whitney Houston. Doing shit for other people. Not having the balls to choose my highest possible good. Why? I did not believe I deserved it. That little voice in my head, from my grandmother, from Sister X, from people who meant well. But unfortunately, those negative terms, now remember, that shit doesn't work no more. But I'm trying to tell you, especially for people who are in the mental health industry like I am, for people like Sister Mika, because she's going to be in that same space. Sister Addie, you in that same space. Ooh, man, I didn't even mention Sister Diane Coleman. Sister Diane Coleman, your whole market, because Sister Diane Coleman is born, she's like my brother Glenn. Like, if my brother Glenn ever wake up, he's going to be a bad dude. Because he's a pastor, and he's born in August. He's a soul healer. That's why he's chasing souls. He's trying to save souls. He don't know he's supposed to be healing souls. So what is a soul healer? August, if you're born in August, your life was, all of your experiences prepared you to heal souls. Because they can't save them. Because they're not lost. but they do need healing. Now, that's what that word that's what it really means in the ancient text. Salvation means, it means to protect one from molestation. That's what it means in the ancient, in the Aramaic. Look it up. 100 grand. Prove me wrong. Look it up. Sozo means to protect one from molestation. Who's molesting you? It's just mental. It's a spiritual. So if you're born in August, that's your job. So what is that? That's your market. Your market is really not. Your market is, if I talk to Sister Diane, and I've talked to Sister Diane, we've done a few one-on-one. So we got to peel the layer back a little bit further, and we've already talked about this. All molestation is not physical. In fact, that old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's a lie from the pit. Words, I would rather get beat, which I got beat quite a bit as a kid, than to hear somebody tell me some of the shit that I heard. My spirit was broke long before that belt hit my back. By hearing words like, you are going to grow up to be a worthless, no good for nothing, just like your daddy. Those words cut way deeper than any belt. And that shit carries with you. So everybody, your market is your past. Your flaws have uniquely prepared you for your cause. Your cash is inside of your cause. Remember, do not chase money. Do nothing for money. Work for cause. Every morning I wake up early because I have a cause. I have a reason to wake up, and it's not money. My reason, anybody read my poster? My original YouTube channel that was deleted, it was entitled Replacing Error with Truth. I had that YouTube channel for since YouTube been around. And look at what I'm doing now. Remember, all my life I've been talking about purpose. Now, I'm back to where I started. Replacing error with truth. Because my name is Betazaiah. Betazaiah, I mean, he's in all the ancient texts. He got a little love in the Bible. Read about Betazaiah. You see what he did. Moses had Aaron and Betazaiah. Aaron spoke, Betazaiah built. Read it. First Kings, Second Kings, it's all through the Old Testament. My name in Hebrew means Betazaiah. Everything I do, I found inside of Betazaiah's history. It's almost like I'm a reincarnation of Betazaiah. That's how I feel. Your job, brothers and sisters, is to find your market. Your market has changed now because we're not in the Piscean age any longer. Now we're in the age of Aquarius. So now your market is water. Water is the foundation of life. No life can exist without water. So your market is no longer dirt. Your market is water now. So you cannot talk about fluff anymore. You got to talk about life. You need to give life because people are depending upon you to step up and be, number one, the resource or solution. Number two, trustworthy and authentic. Number three, value and an asset. I guarantee you, if you do those three things, if you stick around with me, and again, I'm still building. Anybody that needs help with your book, again, obviously it's not for free. It's still, it was $1,000, it's still $4.99, especially for members. Why? Because I know writing a book is hard for some people. For me, like I said, I'll write your book for you. Should it take me a week, if that? Because what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take your numbers, put it in my language, and I'm going to take your life story, and at the beginning of every chapter, we're going to do a one-on-one. You're going to tell me how you grew up, and I'm going to take that audio, and I'm going to put it on my Microsoft Word, and I'm going to click play. And the words are going to appear on the page. Now, you can do that yourself. But if you need assistance, I got you. Brothers and sisters, regarding my witness, I love you. Appreciate you. I joke around. I talk mad trash. But at the end of the day, my heart's always been where the same was when I was a little kid. When I was a little boy, all I did was run around and play. That's it. I liked everybody. I had no problems. People just didn't like me. I wasn't bad. I was curious. I wanted to know how shit works. And ain't nothing changed. I'm still the same. I love you. I appreciate you. We'll see you guys mañana. God bless.